he played his characterizations. If it was just Kurt Hennig or if it was Mr. Perfect, he knew how to do this, and everybody got along with him. He was an excellent professional wrestler, trained in the Gagne method of pro wrestling back then. And yeah, I no clue why he was never a world champion.
Hey guys, let's see. We still got a few more minutes here. Let's talk about wrestling's Mount Rushmore. Now, Sportskeeda wanted me to reach out to you two and find out who you think should be on the Mount Rushmore, the pro wrestling Mount Rushmore. Your 4 choices of men to go up there, or women.
Of men. Teddy, you want to hit that first?
Well, I would say Hulk Hogan, The Rock. Let's see. I was trying to figure what great woman that we've had in our sport. Too. That certainly.
Are these just males?
No, male or female.
Yeah. I'd say Jazz, and probably Jackie Moore.
Okay.
Bill.
Whew. Totally different. Mil Mascaras. Bruno Sammartino, Harley Race. I'm going back to the Dory Funk Jr. I need 2 or 3 more guys.
So yeah, you need. Let's see, that was 3, I think. Did you give us 3 or 4?
4.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it all. Some of the ones that I pulled up online just to see what the average person's usually saying. Usually, it comes out to be Hogan, Flair, Undertaker, Stone Cold. Now, and I think all 3 of us all have different Mount Rushmores simply because we grew up at different times and watched wrestling in different eras. And everybody's Mount Rushmore will never be the same. Another 50 years from now.
Who are yours, Matt?
Mine are a little bit more old school. I had Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, and Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
So I just tried to look for people who made an impact during their time periods, and pretty much that's all I can say. But there's a lot of names that you could put in there. I mean, if you don't have The Undertaker, you got The Rock. You got Stone Cold. You got about everybody from the Attitude Era. Let's put it that way. That you could actually make a legitimate, complaint and say they belong up there too.
Well, when you said 4 names, you know what I mean. That's just not enough.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean. Yeah. Once you mention Undertaker there, you know what I mean. Definitely, this guy's got to be there. So I'd have to have more than 4 names. To put there. So 4 names is just not enough.
I agree.
We have to create Wrestle Mountain.
Well, there'd be a lot of faces on that mountain. Then people will be saying, well, who goes on top and who's on the bottom? There'd be everybody bitching about something. You watch.
You're right.
All right. Jake Roberts recently stated that he thought Kurt Hennig should have been world champion, saying, quote, he had all the tools, man. There's a lot of guys out there that could have done it, man. But Kurt Hennig comes to the top. He was top level. He was top shelf. What do you guys say?
I agree with Jake. I worked with Kurt. It certainly was. He was top stuff. So that's a question I'd like to know too. Why wasn't he ever world champion?
Yeah, he was a terrific person. He was a party guy. He was fun to be around. He was excellent in the ring, and he played his characterizations. If it was just Kurt Hennig or if it was Mr. Perfect, he knew how to do this, and everybody got along with him. He was an excellent professional wrestler, trained in the Gagne method of pro wrestling back then. And yeah, I no clue why he was never a world champion.
And I have never heard anyone say a bad thing about Kurt Hennig. I never have. If there is somebody out there who dislikes him, I don't know who that would be. Teddy, did you have a chance to work with him? I mean, he was in WCW during the time you were there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I worked with Kurt. I just mentioned that earlier. Yeah, I had a chance to work with Kurt. He was a super nice guy. He played ribs a little bit on people, but I mean, who doesn't do that? You know what I mean? That's just part of the wrestling business.
He was known for a couple of famous ribs too. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I've read about him before. So yeah.
He had gotten me tickets to see George Strait at Madison Square Garden. And I said, I really want to meet George Strait. It's one of my favorite singers. He says, it's not going to be this time, but I'll make sure I get you to meet him. So he had died. And about a year later, I'm in Nashville doing some stuff. And a guy comes over to me at ringside and he says, you Bill Apter? I said, yeah. He says, well, I work at a club called The Trap. And he said, we're having a little party tonight with a few special people and we'd like you to come down. I said, that's great. I walk in and there's a table sitting about 8 people, beautiful blonde lady and her husband with her, George Strait.
Wow.
I told them the story. It was a year later almost to the date of his death.
Wow.
And I told George Strait that story. And there's a picture of me in my book, Is Wrestling Fixed?
I didn't know it was broken.
Thank you. It's a picture in there and the whole story about how Curt Hennig introduced me to George Strait after he had passed away.
Very cool. All right, guys, we got just a few minutes here left, and I've got some questions that we actually asked people to write some questions for us, send them in so we could have them on the show today. I'm going to pick just a few of them real fast. You ready? All right. Joe Mason on Twitter asked, Teddy has had so many great roles. What was the most fun to play?
General Manager, SmackDown.
I can't imagine anything else but that, really, because there's so many opportunities there to have fun.
And I'd done it so long, I had a chance to really buff it,
Oh, yeah. All right. Michael V on Facebook writes, love the show. Does Bill Apter have a collection of all his old photographs? It would make for a great table book.
I don't. All the photographs that I took, 99% of them were owned by the London Publishing, PWI, Inside Wrestling, The Wrestler. I worked there as a job. I got a paycheck every week, medical, dental, the whole thing. And everything I shot is still in the files there with whoever owns it currently.
Did you ever shoot many private pictures with your own camera?
Oh, I have an entire book, and when I do my one-man show, and you've seen this, I have about 100 pictures of various wrestlers and boxers giving me the finger.
Yep.
But yeah, I have some of them, and I'm trying to work out something now to maybe put out an After Chat quarterly like newsletter just with those photos, possibly.
That would be cool. All right, let's see. Janet Rabbit writes, how do all three of you know each other? Was Mac a wrestler? He looks like a mini Goldberg. I've heard that before. Teddy, I miss those old days with you on SmackDown. Holla.
Well, the way that we all knew each other is, like I said, with Bill Apter knew me when I was putting up the ring, taking the ring down. Yeah. So that's been over 30-some years ago. So that's how I met Bill. And with Mac, I met him on the road through my travels and everything. So me and Mac have known each other almost pretty close to 5 or 6 years. So just honored to be friends with both of these guys.
Likewise. I met Mac when I was doing a podcast with Josh Chernoff, who's the head of the Premier Streaming Network. And Mac had gotten in touch with me, asked about advertising on the show for that product that you do. I don't know if the fans know about that. And Mac and I just started hanging out and becoming friends. And he, like you, Teddy, is like a extended family member to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we all three seem to click. That's just why the show works and why we get along so well when we're hanging out, because we're just three guys who love wrestling. That's it. And we don't judge each other. We're just there to have fun.
Wait a minute. Now I have a question that I should have written in. There's three of us. Who is Mo, who is Larry, and who is Curly?
I'm Curly.
Oh,
you must be Larry, Bill, because Mo kind of leads the three, and I got to lead the show. So, God, that's horrible. They're gonna have pictures of those Three Stooges over our heads probably now. Anyhow, we are out of time.
You'll fix it. The next thing we see on social media, you'll have them right up over us. You'll fix it.